As built, Arcade1Up cabinets are ideal for people around 5 foot 6 inches tall. However, being 6 foot myself, well, as you can see, when playing Defender, I've found the games to be a bit short. As demonstrated in several of my videos, I've installed boosters under the riser base to bring up most of my games to a more comfortable height. And while I've made some of the boosters myself, I've found it easiest to simply purchase them from BuyStuffArcades.com. These boosters are made from laminated MDF and plywood and are easy to assemble. They plug right into the bottom of an Arcade1Up riser base. When I added Street Fighter to my arcade, I went to BuyStuffArcades.com to order a 4-inch booster for it. To my surprise, the company had added a new booster to its shop with matching graphics for Tempest. Now, while my Tempest cabinet already had a booster under it, it was plain black, and I like the idea of the booster matching the rest of the game. So I reused that booster on Street Fighter and ordered a new one for Tempest. The booster comes disassembled. It includes 4 laminated wood pieces, 8 screws, 3 strips of vinyl graphics, and an instruction sheet. Assembly and installation takes about 30 minutes. Although you can simply plug the booster into the riser base, it can slip off when you move the game. To attach the base securely, I drilled the corner posts for number 8 by 1 inch wood screws. I drilled 1/8 inch holes roughly 1 inch from the top of each post. I then used a countersink bit to flare out the holes so that the screws would sit flush with the surface. To assemble the booster, I began by clamping one of the sides to the back panel. Because the back panel butts into the corner, it's easiest to start here to get a tight square fit. I then installed the screws by hand to avoid over-tightening them. Once both sides were attached to the back panel, I installed the front, making sure the overlapping corners fit flush. When you slip the booster onto the base as it is, you'll notice that there is a gap between the two parts. That gap is caused by the riser's own nylon feet. For a better finish, I removed the nylon feet from the base using a pair of pliers. This eliminates the gap when you attach the booster. To screw the two sections together, I removed the front and back base panels to expose the booster's posts at the corners. Before drilling any holes into the base, be sure that the post sits flush with the front of its side panels as shown. Using the 1/8 inch bit again, I drilled through the post holes into the base. You only want to break the surface of the laminated MDF to start the screws. Avoid drilling through the outer surface of the side panels. With the drilling complete, I installed the 1 inch screws, then reattached the riser base's front and back panels. Next, I laid the base and the booster on its side and wiped down the surface with a damp microfiber cloth to remove all the dust. To install the vinyl, I started with one of the side panels. First, peel up about 1 inch of the backer to prepare the panel for installation. Next, position the vinyl so the line between the black and white sections lines up with the black and white line on the base. Then carefully tack the front edge of the vinyl to the booster. Working carefully, I peeled away more of the backer and smoothed the vinyl onto the booster using a microfiber cloth. You will have some overhang at the front and back. I removed the overhang at the back of the riser with a sharp knife. However, I chose to fold the extra vinyl at the front over the corner edge. I applied the opposite side using the same techniques. The front piece of vinyl is plain black, and it didn't really match the black used on the game's base. However, I wanted to cover the screws, so I used it anyway. I applied it to the booster, leaving a 3/8 inch overhang at the starting end. The piece is long enough that you'll have about the same amount of overhang at the opposite end. Over time, vinyl can peel up at the edges, particularly at corners where 2 sheets of vinyl meet. By overlapping the vinyl at the ends as shown here, it reinforces the corners and provides a longer lasting bond. With the base complete, I moved it back into my arcade and reinstalled it on the machine. While it might not seem like much, I'm very happy with the matching vinyl on my Tempest booster. It completes the look of the cabinet, and even the 2 different colors of black on the front panel blended together just fine. Buy Stuff Arcades makes a solid product that's both easy to build and install. And for those not having used vinyl before, this is a good starter project to try it. Best of all, I have Tempest back up to a comfortable playing height thanks to its matching booster. For more modification videos on this and other games in my arcade, check out my YouTube channel, Pop Art Studios. And if you like what you see here, consider subscribing.